Hey guys, it's Justine here from I Should Read That with my co-host Sophia, and today I am bringing you part 2 of my bookshelf tour. So I've just finished filming part 1, and we got a little bit sweaty doing it. So this will be interesting because my TBR, in terms of shelf space, is double the size of my owned books, and there's a lot more, I think, on there because I have a lot of double stacking. So this should be really interesting, shouldn't it? Yeah, I'm gonna be really worn out by the end of this, but I want to make sure that I actually get to this video because, as I think I said in my previous one, I've been avoiding this for a long time. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. Same sort of disclaimers as previously. This is not necessarily a whole representation of all the books that I currently own that are on my TBR because I do lend out books a lot, so I will see if I can remember where there is a missing book on my shelf and I will let you know, but this isn't everything that I have. Also, my alphabetization is very loose because I just try to get books wherever they will fit, because shelf space is a little bit of a hot commodity in this flat. And yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. This should be interesting. I've got my very squeaky stepladder here, so if you hear any awful squeaky sounds, that's what it is. So yeah, I'm gonna climb my ladder and we'll go ahead and get started. Alright, so shelf number 1. I'm just gonna go ahead and do, unlike last time, the stuff that is double stacked first, and then I'll take all of those off and I'll show you what's behind. So, starting with our pal Joe Abercrombie, we have Sharp Ends, Half a King, Half a War, and Half the World. I don't know if those 3 are in order or not. Children of Virtue and Vengeance by Tomi Adeyemi. The Candle and the Flame by, I believe, Nafisa Assad. Then we have Damsel by Dana K. Arnold. That one keeps sneaking back onto my shelf. I keep being sure I've unhauled it. I don't know what's going on. Then we have Little Women by Louisa May Alcott and The Robots of Dawn by Isaac Asimov. And behind there we have 2 omnibus editions of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams, City in the Middle of the Night by Charlie Jane Anders, The Traveling Cat Chronicles by Hiro Arikama. Then up top we have The Heroes and Red Country by Joe Abercrombie, The Red Ribbon by Lucy Adlington, Cryptozoic by Brian Aldiss, some Margaret Atwood here. So we have Hagseed, Alias Grace, and The Blind Assassin, another copy of Half a King by Joe Abercrombie, Sophia by Anita Anand, and The Potion Diaries by Amy Alward, and The Race by Nina Allen. And the next shelf has The Wind-Up Girl by Paolo Bacigalupi, Frostblood by Ellie Blake, and 3 Dark Crowns by Kendar Blake. Holly Black's Modern Fairy Tales, that's a bind-up of Tithe and something else, I can't remember what. Then we have 12 Kings by Bradley Beaulieu, Promise of Fire by Amanda Boucher, Alexandra Bracken's Passenger, Karen Memory by Elizabeth Bear, and Here There Are Monsters by Emelinda Berube. And we have a little screamy kitty outside. Got my assistant here, definitely gonna help me out. She provides much emotional support on that chair while I'm filming over here. So behind that we have Ancestral Night by Elizabeth Bear, Girls Made of Snow and Glass by Melissa Bashardow, The Wicked Cometh by Laura Carlin, Fox and Romanov by Nadine Brands. Then we got some Asimov here. We have The Complete Robot, which is, I believe, all of these short stories, The Gods Themselves, and Prelude to Foundation, and Foundation's Edge. Then we have Raft by Stephen Baxter, Turning Darkness into Light, and The Natural History of Dragons by Marie Brennan, Ray Bradbury's Martian Chronicles, M.A. Bennett's Stags, and The Master and Margarita by Mikhail Bulakov, and Cogheart by Peter Bunzel. Being Guarded by the Lannister Siblings, we have The Coffin Path by Kathleen Clements, Orphanage of the Gods by Helena Kogan, The True Queen by Zen Cho, The Binding by Bridget Collins, I believe. Then we have Never Tilting World by Rin Chapeko, Sunland Ascends by Josiah Bancroft, Into the Crooked Place by Alexandra Christo, The Last Bus to Everland by Sophie Cameron, Stories of Your Life and Others by Ted Chiang, The Crow Trap by Anne Cleves, Honor Among Thieves by Rachel Kane and I believe Anne Aguirre, Angela Carter's Book of Fairy Tales and the Star-Touched Queen by Roshni Chokshi. Our double stacks for this shelf are Game Changer by Alex Beckett, Bruja Born by Zoraia Cordova, Incendiary by Zoraia Cordova, and Rin Chupeco's The Bone Witch. Alright, so now we have a big double stack. This is Exhalation by Ted Chiang, Song of the Sycamore by Ed Cox, The Queen of Crows and the Killing Light by Mike Cole, Queen of the Conquered by Kaysen Callender, A Throne of Swans by Catherine and Elizabeth Core, Queen of Coin and Whispers by Helen Corcoran, The Queen's Assassin by Melissa Dela Cruz, North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. That is a, I think, 1896 printed edition, which is quite cool. Then we have Wranglestone by Darren Charlton, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clark, Clean by Juno Dawson, and The Luminaries by Eleanor Catton. And behind those are Onyx and Ivory by Mindy Arnett. That, I don't know why that's down here in the B's and C's instead of the A's, but that's okay. The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken, Heart of Thorns by Bree Barton, Grace and Fury by Tracy Banghart. This is a weird Fairy Loot shelf, it seems. A lot of those are from Fairy Loot. Then we have Dumb Witness and the 450 from Paddington by Agatha Christie, Fools by Pat Cadigan, Lair of Dreams and Before the Devil Breaks You by Libba Bray, Chasing the Stars by Marjorie Blackman, The Private Lives of the Tudors by Tracy Borman, Consider Phoebus by Ian M. Banks, and The Tethered Mage by Melissa Caruso. Then we have Master of Sorrows by Justin Call, The Kingdom of Copper by S.A. Chakraborty, Roar by Cora Carmack, A Shadow Bright and Burning by Jessica Cluez, Abden's Gate and Cibola Burns by James S.A. Corey, Rother Weird by Andrew Cladicott, Ink and Bone by Rachel Kane, The Cathedral of Known Things, The Watcher of Dead Time and the Relic Guild by Ed Cox, and let's move Boba Fett here. Strange and Ever After, Darkness, Strange and Lonely, and Something Strange and Deadly by Susan Dennard. Then we have The Husband Hunters by Anne de Courcy, a nonfiction book, Wind Witch and Sight Witch and Blood Witch by Susan Dennard, Monsters by Sharon Dogar, Arthur C. Clarke's Rendezvous with Rama, Vera Kaspari's Laura, To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo, The Good Luck Girls by Charlotte Nicole Davis, Ascension by Victor Dixon, Spellslinger and The Traitor's Blade by Sebastian de Castel, The House of Shattered Wings by Aliette de Bodard, Margot at War and the Viceroy's Daughters, also by Anne de Courcy, more nonfiction, and Philip K. Dix Ubik. And just a few double-stacked books on that one. We have David Copperfield by Charles Dickens, The Man in the High Castle by Philip K. Dick, Dangerous Remedy by Kat Dunn, and The Stars We Steal by Alexa Dawn. So we're at the bottom of the first shelf. We have Vox by Christina Dulcher, Vita Nostra by Marina and Sergei Dyachenko, Mythos by Stephen Fry, The Disasters by M.K. England, The Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Green. Then we have The Traitor by Seth Dickinson. We have Minority Report, We Can Remember It For You Wholesale, and Scanner Darkly by Philip K. Dick, Stepsister by Jennifer Donnelly, Mindhunter by John Douglas and Mark Olshaker, The Neverending Story by Michael End, Laura Eves' The Graces, The Wicked Deep by Shay Earnshaw, Cold Magic by Kate Elliott, Carrie Fisher's Postcards from the Edge, and Moira Fowley Doyle's The Accident Season. And just a couple double stacks here. We have The Lost Ones by Anita Frank, The Vanished Bride by Bella Ellis, and Spellhacker by M.K. England. Alright, so we're back up at the top now. So we have Lady Hotspur by Tessa Grattan, Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant, Daughter of the Empire by Raymond E. Feist and Janny Wirtz. Then we have actually two of Scottish Husbands books that have made their way onto my shelf. This is Metro 33 and Metro 34 by Dmitry Glukhovsky, Blood Sisters by Sarah Gristwood, which is a nonfiction book, My Last Duchess by Daisy Goodwin, The Lux by Anna Goberston, and A Time of Blood and Malice by John Gwynne. Behind those we have The Queens of Innislear by Tessa Grattan, A Boy and His Dog at the End of the World by C.A. Fletcher, We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Faisal, and The Witch Elm by Tana French. Then we have Michelle Faber's Under the Skin. You can't really see it there, but we have A Room with a View by E.M. Forster, which is one of my faves, but I'm going to reread it, which is why it's on my TBR. The Girl Who Could Move Shit with Her Mind by Jackson Ford. The Silk Roads by Peter Frankopan. Shadow Scent by P.M. Freestone. The Last Highlander by Sarah Fraser, another nonfiction. Ken Follett's The Pillars of the Earth. The Dark Days Club by Alice Goodman. Wolf by Wolf by Ryan Groudon. And The Rhyming Rings and Legend by David Gemmell. So on the next shelf, Geordie LaForge is guarding the Dune trilogy by Frank Herbert. I've read the first of the Dune books, and I thought it was alright. I'm going to give him another try, though. A Brief History of Time by Stephen Hawking. We Sold Our Souls by Grady Hendrix. The Suicide Club by Rachel Heng. That very slim one there is the Rebel of the Sands short stories by Alwyn Hamilton. Then we have An Illusion of Thieves by Kate Glass, which I actually forgot that I owned. Other Words for Smoke and Spare and Found Parts by Sarah Maria Griffin, William Gibson's Neuromancer, Neil Gaiman's Anansi Boys, Across the Nightingale Floor by Leon Hearn, The Deathless Girls by Kieran Millwood Hargrave, Ron Hasterly's The Devonshires, which is nonfiction, Hero at the Fall by Alwyn Hamilton, The Forever War by Joe Heldman, The Humans by Matt Haig, Michelle Hodkins' The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer, and we have Viper by Bex Hogan. Moving on to The Buried Giant by Kazuo Ishiguro, Knights of the Silver Circle by Duncan M. Hamilton, Frances Harding's A Skinful of Shadows, Joan He's The Descendant of the Crane, and Rosamund Hodges' Bright Smoke, Cold Fire. Then we have a proof copy of Deep Light by Frances Harding, Cuckoo Song, and Fly By Night, also by Frances Harding. Then we have Assassin's Apprentice and Royal Assassin, which I've actually read, and those are going to be rereads, and Assassin's Quest by Robin Hobb, as well as Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb. The double stacks for this shelf are Dragon Slayer by Duncan M. Hamilton, The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix, and a finished copy of Deep Light, as well as Rhapsody by Elizabeth Hayden, A Pinch of Magic by Michelle Harrison, and Havenfall by Sarah Holland. Then we have Miracle Creek by Angie Kim, My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix, who seems to be scattered all over these shelves, The Midnight Queen by Sylvia Hunter, Crossroads of Twilight and Knife of Dreams, books 10 and 11, and Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan, Death on the Cherwell by Mavis Doral Hay, The Girl in Red by Christina Henry, The Island at the End of Everything by Kieran Millwood Hargrave, Joanne Harris's Chocolat, Runelight, and Rune Marks, The Wanderers by Meg Howry, The Stars Are Legion by Cameron Hurley, Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman, Elizabeth is Missing by Emma Healy, and Istanbul by Bethany Hughes. That's another nonfiction. After that, we have Robert Jordan's Warrior of the Altai, A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer, The Midnight Dance by Nikki Katz, A Dress for the Wicked by Autumn Krause, That Inevitable Victorian Thing by E.K. Johnson, and We Have Always Lived at the Castle and the Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, Shadow of What Was Lost by James Islington, Thorn by Inistar Kahani, Bright Ruin by Vic James, A Thousand Nights by E.K. Johnston, The Obelisk Gate and the Stone Sky by N.K. Jemisin, How Long Till Black Future Month by N.K. Jemisin as well, that's short stories, Winter Song by S.J. Jones, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson, and The Quiet at the End of the World by Lauren James. Next we have Under the Dome by Stephen King, Fate of the Fallen by Kel Cade, The Crow Garden by Alison Littlewood, Things in Jars by Jess Kidd, New Spring by Robert Jordan, that's the prequel to Wheel of Time, The Queen of the Tearling by Erica Johansson, that is a reread for me. Then we have The Gilded King, The Silver Queen, and A Bargain in Silver by Josie Jaffrey, Dagger Spell and Dark Spell by Catherine Kerr, Bellwether by Susanna Kearsley, The Bone Garden by Heather Kasner, If Cats Disappeared from the World by Genki Karamura, and Orphan Monster Spy by Matt Killeen. We're at the bottom of shelf 2, so we're halfway there, with Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim, Beyond a Darkened Shore and Through the White Wood by Jessica Leek, Spacemen of Bohemia by Yaroslav Kalir, I believe, Stranger of the Tempest by Tom Lloyd, Pantomime by Laura Lamb, Tigana and Under Heaven by Guy Gavriel Kay, Julie Kagawa's Talon, and quite a lot of Stephen King. So we have Sleeping Beauties and the second and third Dark Tower books. So The Drawing of the Three and The Wastelands. And then finally we have The Unspoken Name by A.K. Larkwood. That's one I DNF'd recently, you may remember, but I'm going to give it another try in a while. Right, I am bumping my head on the light fixture here. We've got Warrior of the Wild by Tricia Levenseller, Furyborn by Claire Legrand, George R. R. Martin's Fire and Blood, Brightfall by Jamie Lee Moyer. We have We Are Blood and Thunder by Kessia Lupo, a lot of Mercedes Lackey, slightly out of order. We have I Spy, The Hills Have Spies, and The Heralds of Valdemar Omnibus. Then we have Grave Mercy by, I believe it's Robin Lefebvre, and a whole lot of Marie Lu. I don't think these are in order. So The Midnight Star, The Rose Society, The Young Elites, Legend, Champion, and Prodigy. Then we have The Riviera Set by Mary S. Lovell. That's one my sister is lending me. It is nonfiction. The double stacks for this one are The Furies by Katie Lowe, The Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd-Jones, and Fallible Justice by Laura Lasco. Then we've got Circe by Madeline Miller. Sorry, the stepladder is squeaky. Crowfall by Ed McDonald. A Memory Called Empire by Arkady Martine. Nocturna by Maya Motanya. A couple of Star Wars books, actually. Darth Pelagius and Tarkin by James Luceno. Red Sea Under Red Skies and The Republic of Thieves by Scott Lynch. Provenance and Ancillary Sword by Anne Leckie. Then we have John le Carré's The Night Manager, The Loneliness of Distant Beings by Kate Ling, China Mieville's The City and the City, and The Falconer by Elizabeth May. And the double stacks here are Middle Game by Shauna Maguire, Priest of Lies by Peter McLean, and A Spark of White Fire by Sangu Mandana. Then we have All Our Wrong Todays by Ellen Mastai, Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. We have We Set the Dark on Fire by Teller K. Maya, Dark and Deepest Red by Anne-Marie McLemore, The Memory Thief by Lauren Mancy, and then we have Two Can Keep a Secret by Karen M. McManus, Northanger Abbey by Val McDermid, Patricia A. McKillip's The Riddle Master's Game, which I think is 3 books in one, The Falcon Throne by Karen Miller, Renegades by Marissa Mayer, and Cinder by Marissa Mayer, Daughter of the Forest by Juliette Marlier, and A Crown for Cold Silver by Alex Marshall. Then we have The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern, The Doll Factory by Elizabeth McNeil, Torn by Rowena Miller, Black Snow Falling by L.J. McWhirter. We have The Pursuit of Love by Nancy Mitford, Romanovs by Simon Sebag Montefiore, I believe. It's hard to read. That's a nonfiction book about the Romanovs. We have David Mitchell's The Bone Clocks, One Way by S.J. Morden, Lud in the Mist by Hope Mirrlees, David Mitchell's The Cloud Atlas, Haruki Murakami's The Wind-Up Bird Chronicle, Before She Ignites by, I believe it's Jody Meadows. Then we have A Blade So Black by L.L. McKinney, Mark Mauser's Dark Continent, that's another one of Scottish Husbands that's made it on my shelf, I think that's World War I. Then Sleeping Giants by Sylvain Nouvelle. And the double stocks on that shelf are Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, Maroda by L.L. McNeil, and Song of the Dead by Sarah Glenn Marsh. We've got The Pursuit of William Abbey by Claire North, Girls of Storm and Shadow by Natasha Nian, Wicked Like a Wildfire by Lana Popovic, Seafire by Natalie Parker, 1984 by George Orwell, Fever Dream by George R. R. Martin, One Good Earl Deserves a Lover by Sarah MacLean, The Future of Another Timeline by Annalee Newitz, Fleet of Knives by Gareth Powell, Brothers Ruin by Emma Newman, By Gaslight by Stephen Price, Throne of Jade by Naomi Novik, The Games House by Claire North, Patrick Ness's The Knife of Never Letting Go, A History of Scotland by Neil Oliver, and A History of Heavy Metal by Andrew O'Neill. So the double stacks for that shelf, there are quite a lot, are Sweet Black Waves and Wild Savage Stars by Christina Perez, The Pit and the Pendulum and Other Tales by Edgar Allan Poe, Vasa in the Night by Sarah Porter, Small Gods by Terry Pratchett, 16 Ways to Defend a Walled City by K.J. Parker, All Fall Down by Sally Nichols, Wakenhurst by Michelle Paver, A Song for a New Day by Sarah Pinsker, and The Wee Free Men by Terry Pratchett. Then we have La Belle Sauvage by Philip Pullman, The Sacred Lies of Minnow Bly by Stephanie Oakes. Then we have the Song of the Lioness series by Tamora Pierce, so Alana, The First Adventure, In the Hand of the Goddess, The Woman Who Rides Like a Man, and The Lioness Rampant. Then we continue with Tamora Pierce with the Immortals series, so Wild Magic, Wolf Speaker, Emperor Mage, and the Realms of the Gods, Velocity Weapon by Megan O'Keefe, The Bedlam Stacks by Natasha Pulley, Guards by Terry Pratchett, The Watchmaker of Filigree Street by Natasha Pulley, White Rabbit, Red Wolf, and Heartstream by Tom Pollock, and The Instance of the Finger Post by Ian Pierce. And the double stacks for this one are The Merciful Crow by Margaret Owen, the Complete Binti Trilogy by Nnedi Okorafor, Philip Pullman's The Secret Commonwealth, The Surface Breaks by Louise O'Neill, Beast Made of Night, and War Girls by Tochi Onyebechi, and I Am by Maggie O'Farrell. And we have The Wolf's Call by Anthony Ryan, Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Roanhorse, The Sisters of the Winter Wood by Raina Rosner, Heart of Iron by Ashley Poston, Want by Cindy Pon, Contact by Carl Sagan, The Stranger Beside Me by Anne Rule, The Winner's Curse by Marie Rukowski, The Ministry of Utmost Happiness by Arundhati Roy, Revelation Space and Revenger by Alistair Reynolds, Red Mars and 2312 by Kim Stanley Robinson, and The Hourglass Factory by Lucy Ribchester. Now we're back at the top of the fourth set of shelves. This is the last of my TBR. We've got my owned books over here next to it. So we have From the Wreck by Jane Rawson, Beth Revis's Give the Dark My Love, The Tiger's Daughter by Kay Arsenal Rivera, Romina Russell's Zodiac, and Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs, The Thing Itself by Adam Roberts, Bloodsong by Anthony Ryan, Snakewood by Adrian Selby, I Am Traitor by Siv Sigmostidir, Andrei Sapkowski's The Last Wish, that's the first Witcher book, The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society by Anne Marie Schaefer and Annie Barrows, The Song of Sorrow by Melinda Salisbury, The Sleeping Prince by Melinda Salisbury, Vicious, and The Dark Vault by V.E. Schwab, Adam Silvera's They Both Die at the End, Melanie Ron's The Dragon Prince, The Queen's Rising by Rebecca Ross, Howling Dark by Christopher Rocchio, and The Antidote by Shelley Sakier. Engleweed and Brine by Deirdre Sullivan, The Infinite Noise by Laura Shippen, Grim Lovelies and Midnight Beauties by Megan Shepherd, Beneath the Citadel by Destiny Soraya, Lord of Secrets by Brianna Tientz, Endymion and Ilum by Dan Simmons, This Mortal Coil by Emily Suvada, Strange Practice by Vivian Shaw, The Diamond Age by Neil Stevenson, Friendly Fire by Gavin Smith, A Murder Most Unladylike by Robin Stevens, Old Man's War by John Scalzi, The City Stained Red by Sam Sykes, and The Witches, Salem, 1692, A History by Stacy Schiff, obviously a nonfiction. Hunted and Sherwood by Megan Spooner, Mary Stewart's The Crystal Cave, The Book of M by Pang Shepard, Laura Sebastian's Ash Princess, The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt, Slated by Terry, An Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir, The Man in the Queue by Josephine Tay, Enchantée by Gita Trelease, The Small House at Allington by Anthony Trollope, and The Trials of Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend. Sharing that shelf are An Unkindness of Ghosts by River Solomon, Godblind by Anna Stevens, Seven Eves by Neil Stevenson, and A Court of Broken Knives by Anna Smith Spark. We have Oathbringer by Brandon Sanderson, We Are the Dead by Mike Shackle, Silmarillion by J.R.R. Tolkien, Four Dead Queens by Astrid Schulte, The Tiger and the Wolf by Adrian Tchaikovsky, as well as Empire of Black and Gold by Adrian Tchaikovsky, The English and Their History by Robert Toms, obviously a nonfiction, On the Come Up by Angie Thomas, The Fall of Arthur, Beowulf and Baron and Luthien by J.R.R. Tolkien, Rosewater by Tade Thompson, and Battle Royale by Koshin Takami. And double stacked on that shelf are The God Game by Danny Tobey, Chilling Effect by Valerie Valdez, The Wolf of Oroñaro by K.S. Veloso, and Cara Thomas's The Cheerleaders. Then under that we have Shadows of the Short Days by Alexander Don Williamson, Adrian Tchaikovsky's Cage of Souls, An Affair of Poisons by Addie Thorley, All the Ever Afters by Danielle Teller, The Beast Player by Nohoko Uhashi, The Last Astronaut by David Wellington, The Black Hawks by David Raig, Raw Blood by Katrina Ward, Jen Williams, The Ninth Reign, Catherine Howard, The Tragic Story of Henry VIII's Fifth Queen by Josephine Wilkinson, Gap in Time by Jeanette Winterson, Price Guide to the Occult by Leslie Walton, The Embedding by Ian Watson, Evelyn Waugh's Brideshead Revisited, Edith Wharton's House of Mirth, and I Darken by Kirsten White. During that shelf we have The Bear and the Serpent by Adrian Tchaikovsky, Born by Jeff Vandermeer, and The Sisters Grimm by Mina Van Praagh. Then we have Legacy of Ash by Matthew Ward, Wanderers by Chuck Wendig, Emily Eternal by M.G. Wheaton, The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein by Kirsten White, 6-4 by Hideo Yokoyama. Then we have Todd Williams' Shadow March, Victoria by A.N. Wilson, which is a biography, The Way of Shadows and the Black Prism by Brent Weeks, and Codename Verity by Elizabeth Wing. And last but not least, on our final shelf, we have Blood Air by Emily Wen Zhao, The Labyrinth of Spirits by Carlos Ruiz Zafón, Little Eve by Katrina Ward, Sky in the Deep by Adrian Young, Gobelino, The Witch's Cat by Ursula Moray Williams, Exit Strategy and Rogue Protocol by Martha Wells, The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland in a Ship of Her Own Making by Catherine M. Valenti, The Wren Hunt by Mary Watson, The Light Between Worlds by Laura Weymouth, Sky Painted Gold by Laura Wood, The Dragonbone Chair by Tad Williams, and How to Live Safely in a Science Fictional Universe by Charles Yu. Right, so that's me pretty much having lost my voice. I've gone over all of the books that I own and currently have on my shelves. I hope you guys have enjoyed both of these parts of my bookshelf tour. In the comments below, let me know if you have any of these books on your shelves as well, and if you've read any of these books and have something especially fun to say about them. I post bookish content to this channel fairly frequently, so go ahead and hit subscribe, check back soon, and I will see you next time.